I was trying to rotate this, y'all. I know y'all sitting here like, Sharon's having her moments again. I try not to have them, but, you know, such is life. I wanted to rotate the screen. Who's that? Come on. I wanted to rotate this screen for you, but I think I got it now. I don't take my phone off of certain features, and it wasn't on that particular feature, which is why. Yeah, my phone has a mind of its own. It tries to tell me what to do, as if. All right. I wanted to talk about some specific things, and those specific things I wanted to talk about were STRAWMAN. I want to turn this screen around, but I need to be able to see what you see so I can make sure we're all on the same page. So I'm waiting for the video to come up on my actual laptop. There we go. There we go. So now I'm going to swing it around, transfer it around, and do that thing. So there we go. Let's see. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to swing it around, transfer it around. There we go. Now, I want to use the board. And this might be difficult, so bear with me. Because I want you to see what I'm talking about. There we go. And I need to see. So give me a second. All right. How's it, baby? This is difficult to do this way, so I'm going to try to bear with me. I'm going to wait to see because I got a delay here. Why Lien, the Social Security, and the STRAWMAN? I want to know if anybody... This is all over. I don't see a way to connect with you. Yeah, I know, but this ain't the platform right now to talk about that, William Langford Austin. Because we do have classes at the Havertown Library on Saturdays, and we're about to add another class. I'm thinking Wednesday at the same library in the evenings around 6 p.m. I'm thinking of those two particular days. And the reasons why I'm thinking that is because of things like that, because I cannot do one-on-ones. I'm absolutely positively not in the position to do one-on-ones with Morris because there's too much of a demand for that, and I really don't have time to have meetings. So the platforms you can reach me at, like I said, is at the Havertown Free Library on Saturdays, or at the and then soon to have another day during the week, most likely Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the library in the conference room, this time in the basement. Only because I really cannot do one-on-ones, and it's really not necessary for us to do one-on-ones on nationality, proclaiming and declaring your status. So I'm trying to get this board to be seen. I don't know if you can see the board. The video has like a couple second delay. And I'm just going to wait to see if it comes in view. We'll see. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make, or the point that I'm making is, why Lien, the STRAWMAN, and the Social Security? Why Lien, the STRAWMAN, and the Social Security? Do Moors know why they lean? the straw man in the Social Security. If somebody could put in the comment section why you lean the straw man in the Social Security real quick, so people can have clarity, because I do know that because of a lot of deception in our own nation, because of a lot of lacking knowledge and competencies that does run rapid in our communities, you may not be clear on why this needs to be done. And I do know there's a lot of people out there who are trying to stop the progression of the nation. And because our people lack fundamental, exactly, Akil, to stop other corporations and people from using it. That's a very, very great answer to why you strangle the straw man in Social Security. Does anybody know why the straw man in the Social Security was established and created? Because it was not your mother who authorized your birth name, born name, to be turned into a straw man in all caps. And the Social Security number is the tracking mechanism or the serial number, for the lack of a better word, for tracking all of the activity of the straw man. So when you go to GMI utility, I think it is GMEI or GMEIE utility, and you put in this number in a multitude of different derivatives. So you could put it in with all the numbers squished together, put spaces in between all of the numbers. You can do it a multitude of ways. Put a space after the number, then put PA or CA or anything else, and you'll come up with a multitude of corporations that were established using this number that's tied to this straw man and other derivatives of your so-called slave name. My mother named me this. This is what my mother named me, Sharon Tracy Gill. She named me that because that's what she wanted to name me, right? So when she had me at the hospital, she filled out documents that under threat, duress, and coercion, as well as this is the most traumatic and the most painful experience most women will go through, because they're about to have a baby. Their emotions are all over the place. Pain level is at the highest it's ever going to be for women to a degree. And she's concerned about the child, as well as her ability to function as the mother once that child is born, right? My mom had me after she was 40 years old. So she had other hosts of so-called medical issues that enhanced why they make the decisions that they make and signing the documents that they sign in the hospitals, because you are under duress and you're under stress and you're under physical impairments, both mental and physical, right? So you're dealing with these things. Your mother is dealing with these things when she's having you. So when she's signing these two documents, she is being led to believe that is what she needs to sign up for, let's say, welfare, housing assistance, because my mother was on Section 8. She was on all those public assistance programs that were established to assist the Moors as well as other individuals in order to live, right? Because my mom, I'm the last of 13 children, so she's been doing this for a pretty long time, right? So she already knows the whole system, just like a multitude of other individuals know a host of systems. So she already knows she got to do the birth certificate and the Social Security number, or she's already misled to believe she has to fill out this document and this document to get support within for her children, right? And she's already on these so-called public assistances. And why are people on these public assistances? Because they had their denationalized already, and this is just a process of denationalizing the heirs, right? And because they're denationalized and don't have that, they're not in their proper status and nationality, they are automatically bullied into doing the same thing to their children, and or their children will get taken from them if they don't do these things. So when your mother is going into those facilities, they are being hypothecated. And I know you probably can't really see this, and maybe I should turn this thingy off. Maybe this will help it. I'm not sure. But there's a host of things going on in that hospital, in that venue. See, I'm on a specific topic. Y'all can't come here with different questions because I'm on a specific topic. My certificate of live birth is not in all caps. It does not say my nationality, but it does have Negro for my parents. Does that matter? If you filled out, if this is filled out, the birth certificate, if the birth certificate and the Social Security document is filled out, it don't matter if it's in capital letters. It doesn't matter if it's in lowercase letters. It doesn't matter. You had your mother sign documents to create and establish this. This is the purpose of both of these two documents, because it is the so-called corporate state that you domicile near that is requiring this as part of what you need when you go into those facilities to have those children. So this is the denationalization process, right? Not only is it the denationalization process because she didn't properly know that she needed to declare, she needed to, because have her status corrected herself, make sure when she did a birth record, not necessarily a birth certificate, a birth record, and this would be allodially the MAC number for your Moorish National Republic federal government, and this would be just a birth record, which is kept in your home privately, that you don't share and you don't need to share with other people. Right? So they created and established these things in order for you to get access to your estate. But they've given you access to your estate as a nom de guerre, as property. Not owning it outright, but giving you benefits. All right? So, hold on. Oops. Never goes all the way down. And I only put this up because people need to understand. Y'all need to know what's really going on and not get fooled by people who don't get it themselves but want to sit here and put comments out. And then y'all got to learn to stop listening to comments when they don't follow with facts and actual lawful purpose positions. If you're going to sit here and say, well, why Lien the straw man? Well, ask why. Don't just say why. Put what do you think they should do in place of that? Because there's a lot of Moors out there talking and doing absolutely nothing to assist you in getting out of any of the entanglements we as nations currently in. So stop listening to Moors that are not necessarily active and just talking and not basing it in any facts or references for that piece. You already know what they did with the straw man, the Social Security number. There's facts. You can track this with the GMI utility, GMEI utility, I think it is, .com, the GMIutility.com. You already know, if you go there and put that in there, you know a host of corporations that were registered using this number, and which is associated to this straw man. But that's me. When they created it, they could have had that on the birth certificate. They could have had it all in all caps on the birth certificate. If that's filled out, regardless if it's lowercase, capitalized, they were hypothecating you. Because that certificate is a transmitting utility, a corporation. Why is it a corporation? Because it has this. This is the serial number. It's the same thing as an EIN. It's the same thing as a W-8 bin, because you went to a corporation. Let me be real with y'all. Y'all got to get it. Get it. You went to a corporation that is not a nation. And that is not a part of your culture to validate you. That's what you did. That's what was done, right? So, because we were missing tribal culture, tribal culture, because we're missing tribal culture, you automatically went for corporate activity. And these so-called corporations can do nothing with the natural being. They can do nothing with the natural being. All they can do is create corporations, because they are a corporation. They cannot create anything living. They cannot give you rights or anything like that. You can only accept going into those particular infrastructures as a nom de guerre, as property. And these are the two mechanisms they utilize to effectuate that. So knowing that this is a corporation and this is the serial number tracking the corporation, now do you realize the purpose and the necessity in leaning it? Because this is a corporation and this is the tracking number, and it is being utilized. So whenever you go and fill out any paperwork that you fill out, whenever you go and fill out any paperwork you fill out, wherever you go and fill out any applications that you fill out, they ask you for this, and the establishment. The establishment, which is the born date, which is the creation date. You know, when they say, what was that organization? So when you go in and they ask you what your name, your social security, and your born date, and your so-called residence, they're asking, okay, when was this corporation established? What's the tracking mechanisms to utilize this corporation? And when was it established? That is exactly what they're asking you. Because in order for you to get access and services, they need to be able to go into this estate to give you the services that you're asking for. Even though in doing that, they're giving you the penny benefit. They're giving you no benefits, because the reality is they're supposed to be, at one point, they were only supposed to be administering. Meaning, when you went to go claim land, when you needed things and resources and stuff, they were supposed to administer as so-called trustees. Since they wanted to be that by establishing corporations and putting themselves trustees over those corporations for the benefit of the so-called straw man, which is linked to the natural being, which is you. You understand what I'm saying? Do y'all really get what I am saying? So when you go to so-called welfare, which is the corporate piece they laid over top of it, or housing authority, or disability, or a host of other things, those are the corporate activities that they put on top of the allodial transfer of assets from one trustee or one estate to the other estate, which is from one more to another more. And instead of giving you your stuff, they hypothecated it as the so-called trustees and divvied it out to their heirs. But you the beneficiary, because they made them trustees of administering your estate, and you were not benefiting from this whatsoever, and they justified not giving you a damn thing and taking it through their so-called tax system. Which is why many Moors get thrown out of their apartments, thrown out of their estates, because they don't realize they're at one point their fiduciary responsibility. And they're listing you as a transmitting utility, a corporation that can be established, reestablished, and then they just transfer it. And then one person asked me, well, on the lien, where is the location? Don't you have to find out the actual location where the so-called birth certificate is housed? Well, that is this birth certificate is a transmitting utility, and it's a security. So it's going all over the freaking globe. It's stopping in France. It's moving over to Africa. It could be to China. It could be to Russia. It's going all over the globe. So it's never sitting in one space. It's moving. And you'll never be able to find out where that darn document is. And when you did find out that document, you would see all of the transfers that was established. And this number using the transmitting utility, using GMI is telling you how many times that document was utilized to tap into your estate and to create wealth for all these other foreigners, and not to the natural beings, and not to the people who are heirs to the world's vast estate. So do you get why you lean it? Do you get why you lean it? You lean it to stop them from trying to administer anything of yours and claiming it, because they own the so-called straw man, or the so-called Social Security number, because they established these fraudulently through the acts of the birth certificate and the Social Security number that was established under threat, duress, coercion, as well as treasonous activities when mommy was in the hospital having her children. And she wasn't given the facts as to what those documents really were doing. And because she herself was under the same status, because her mother put her under that status, she had no way of getting out of that until, maybe the Moorish Science Temple and the administrators of the Moorish Science Temple would have told our people what it is that was keeping them enslaved. Because they knew. They know all of this. The administrators of the Moorish Science Temples that are all incorporated, meaning dissolved of their corporate de jure status and put into an incorporated status, which is tied to all that. You get what I'm saying? So do you really need to know why you need to lean your straw man? So every time a so-called policy enforcer, which is a highway bandit and a terrorist, every time a so-called sheriff, when he's not doing his lawful constitutional duties, is a highway terrorist and a bandit, and you want to know why the governors of these corporations and all of these people want to sit here and fight for their so-called claims on these things? Because they established them unlawfully and fraudulently. And a lot of you want to go into the venues and do business with the very individuals who have hypothecated everything you utilized your estate, not to the benefit of you, but to the benefit of their heirs, while at the same time genociding you through medical practices, through programming practices in schools and on the TV. All of these things they've done to us. But you want to do business with the very people we should be putting out of business. I'm just explaining why this makes no sense and why your colonized minds have been deceiving you. So my appeal is, can y'all bring your babies to the classes? Can you bring your teenagers? Can you bring your 20-year-olds? Can you bring your children to classes? Because even if you can't get this information, they can get it. They get it quicker, because there was a part of us, like back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, a lot of our people were induced in crack. They were being victimized, sex pornography, all this stuff our seniors have been dealing with. They were through that very traumatic age, generation, right? So they're dealing with so much trauma that can't even allow a lot of them to get the work done because they're stuck here. And because they're stuck in emotions and trauma, many of our people who are between the ages of, let's say, 80 and 50 are stuck here. And this is not something bad. This is just where they are. And it's going to be the 30s, the 40s, the 20s, and the teens that's going to assist the elders and getting out of this and into this activity and getting the grid done. And they know exactly how to do it. They know how to do it because they know how to work computers. They know how to do all of these things because when their generations was in the schools, it was straight hypothecation and denationalization and miseducation and trauma to boot and crack and chemicals to also influence that behavior to be stuck here. A lot of that influenced that. So it is going to be, Prophet Noble Jew Ali said, and y'all misconstrued it, I'm going to sit you old Moors in the back, and the new Moors coming in with their eyes wide open are going to know what to do, and they're going to do it. Let them do it, man. Let them do it, nation, Moors. Let them do it, nobility. Let them assist. Because we got to hand this over to them. And the quicker we hand it over to them, the better. He wasn't talking about, that wasn't for you to go into your mindset and say, oh, inside the temples, the old people going to be in the back of the temple. No, because the temple is technically you, the body, you. It ain't a building with pews. It's the nation. We got to sit the old Moors in the back and the new Moors got to come in and get the work done. And don't feel some sort of way about it. It got to get done because it's not about ego. It's not about pride. It's about getting the work done. And it's about doing it. And the ones that can do it are the ones that should be doing it. So bring your children to the classes. They can miss PT. They can miss all of their extracurricular activities you got them in. They can miss some of that stuff. Stop putting them in all of these activities so they can't even be a benefit to you, because the reality is a lot of us put them in these facilities and we miseducate them so bad that they are not a benefit to their own nation, and all of the wealth and knowledge that they have is being used against them in their culture. Bring them in. What are the platforms that the children use that are between 20 and, the teenagers and the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds? What do the 20s, 30s, well, we know what the 40s do, and the teens use for social media? We need to be reaching that. When you're coming to do your nationality, bring your children. They'll help you understand the documents. They'll help you. We need all hands on deck, all of them. So bring your teenagers. We can have a class specifically for them. We're not being driven into sin. You're already there. You've already arrived. You understand what I'm saying? Do you get it? We need to reach the babies, because the babies need this information. And we're at the point where we can't wait till mommy and daddy get it. Because mommy and daddy want to get on the phone with Sharon and talk about all their traumas and stay in emotions and trauma. I'm not that person. I'm not here for that. You got 10 minutes. What do you need? And don't ask basic questions because you got to read. And I'm not going to make excuses for that, because there's a multitude of things that need to be done. Like I said, I'll do classes. I'm trying to get the things that I need, because I need this big whiteboard, so I ain't got to be holding this thing like this. So I want one of those easel whiteboards that I can move around with me. And I can have it right here, a really big one. So I can show you step by step what needs to be done. Because this stuff is not rocket science. To keep you snared with the UCCs and all that other stuff is rocket science. Got you rocketing your butt right to outer space, to the Neverlands, because it don't make no damn sense. Keeping you rolling around in the hamster wheel when the way in is the same way out. You denationalize yourself by not knowing your culture. You know your culture to get back into alignment. Islam? So bring your children to class. I need access to them. If you want to call me with questions, make sure your teenager's there so they can help. Because I'm telling you, they're bright, they're beautiful, They have not been through the things you've been through. Different generation. They know this stuff. At 5, 6, at even 4 years old, they know how to work a computer. They know how to use Word, Adobe Reader. They know how to navigate the computer systems. They know how to do all of those things. Ask them to teach you how to do some of these things. But like, how do you get on this? What do I need to do? Y'all don't even think to ask your children these things. And they'd be able to show you in like 5 minutes, and you'd be like, oh my God, my daughter is so brilliant. My son is a mastermind. And he lives in this, or domiciles in the same house you're in. So I brought all these things out to say is, now you know why the straw man in the Social Security serial number tagged to the straw man needs to be linked, because there's a corporation transmitting utility used to hypothecate you. And you're stopping the Albions and any other foreigner from tapping into your estate. And this is a part of reclaiming your estate. By reclaiming your estate and revenuing all the wealth of the Moors is by strangling this thing, which is the straw man that's being utilized to circumvent you. This is why Africa, these Albions in Africa, or these foreigners in Africa try to act like, oh, we got claims to the estate. Yeah, because of these transmitting utilities that didn't get killed with the leading of the straw man in the Social Security number. And only the sovereigns of the nation can do so. No one else can lien, because everybody else is denationalized outside of their nation, outside of themselves. If they're nationals, they're not nationals to Morocco. They're not nationals to our vast estate. They're nationals somewhere else, and they need to be trying to claim land wherever they are sovereign. You're sovereign here, which is why you can shut this down and give them no avenues to utilize any of your estates. Prophet Noble Jew Ali said, when industry grinds to a halt, is going to open up in favor of the Moors. So yes, the Albions and every other foreigner is going to have to come to the Moors to do business. And they're going to have to do it in honor, supporting the supreme laws of the land. But I don't want to beat this dead horse. I've said enough. Get your grids up. Get your grids done. Bring your children into this. We make time for little leagues, for basketball games. We make time for all of these things that do nothing to enhance the wealth of our nation and ourselves. Because when you get into any of those little leagues, that's what they ask for. This, and your birth certificate. They actually ask you for the document, so they can tap into your estate, unbeknownst to you. So let's get our own little leagues. I'm just saying, man. I'm here to make you think. Ooh, I can fall off my chair. So, what did I say? I said a lot, and I'm about to get off this platform because I just came on here to show y'all why y'all lean the straw man. That was the only purpose of me coming here, as well as for me to let you know I need your babies, I need your teenagers, I need the 20-year-olds, I need the 30-year-olds that we have prepared for subjugation. And we need to stop leaving a legacy of enslavement, slavery for our children when they own the world's largest, vast estate. We need to stop leaving them that. We need to stop looking at them to be these beautiful, bright stars when their light was distinguished because they don't even know who they are. Pax et amor. Dies in bonum. Grazie.